Snow White, the new Snow White. Live action Snow White. Wow. Thank you for redeeming that. Um, I didn't actually watch the trailer for this. All I know about Snow White is people are talking about it on Twitter, of course. People talk about a lot of stuff on Twitter. But yeah, I've only seen clips of this, I think, on Twitter and like pictures that they're gonna make a new Snow White and it's a live action. And I don't know if it's good or bad. Probably, I feel like most people say it's not good. I mean, the animated version is already good. The animation is amazing. But I guess they gotta make more money, so they always make a remaster, a live action remaster. And here we are. Since I'm not gonna watch the movie, I'm just gonna watch somebody who already watched the movie and see what they think about it. Because I do not think for myself. I rely on other people to tell me what to think. Let's go.
There are certain fundamental truths about this world which are so universal that anyone, no matter their race, colour or creed, can pretty much agree on them. 1. Never trust a post-Vindaloo fart.
Oh my
2.
god.
Spreadable butter isn't. 3.
Spreadable
Anytime
butter.
a woman starts to
Wait. The spreadable butter, you have to remove it out of the fridge first and let it sit there on the counter in room temperature. That's how you spread it. You cannot spread butter right out of the fridge, okay? That's what I'm gonna say. Anyway, let's move on. Anytime a woman what? Okay.
with a real man would, you know
A
you're
real
about
man
to hear
would?
some
Uh-oh.
weapons grade retardation. And to that not
Uh-oh.
so
A
illustrious
real
list,
man
we
would.
can add that the Snow White live action remake was, without a doubt, one of the worst ideas in the whole history of entertainment.
Oh, shit.
Possibly the most predictable of all failures. A project conceived for all the wrong reasons, starring all the wrong people, pushing all the wrong messages, and telling the entirely wrong story. After all the delays and the controversies and the speculation that have been swirling around it for what feels like decades now, it was actually kinda weird to finally sit down and just watch this thing. Like meeting a celebrity after following their career for years.
Wow.
Not a good kind of celebrity, like. More like a Jimmy Savile kind of celebrity. The kind that you're discreetly warned never to get into a lockable room alone with.
Oh no. I don't know
Here
that
it
reference,
is,
but oh no.
nonetheless. And now that I've finally suffered through nearly 2 hours of Snow White, I can confidently tell you that, yes, this film absolutely lived up to all my worst expectations,
Oh, no.
and in some cases even exceeded them.
It lived up to his expectation and it actually exceeded them in some aspects. Wow. If he's talking about a different thing, if he says like it actually exceeded my expectations, that's a good thing. If he's talking about another piece of media. Ay, ay, ay. You're spitting facts, but I'm still going to leave it in the fridge until the last second. It has to be straight out of the fridge. How am I gonna stick it up my bum? Spreadable. You're not gonna stick it up anywhere. You gotta spread the butter. Where you gonna stick? Oh my god. You know what? This is what I think about when I first heard of Snow White live action when they announced the actors, right? Because in the story, right, the stepmother, the queen asks the mirror who's the fairest of them all, and the mirror would say it's Snow White, right? That's the story. What I'm thinking is that why did they cast her as the queen? And her as Snow White? Why is she insecure of her? That's my question. I have seen edits of pictures from the movie where they exchange the faces. I just feel like maybe the casting is kinda strange. Because I'm not convinced that she would be insecure of her. Because that's the idea in the story, right? I guess anyone could be insecure about themselves. You know what? Anyone has the right to be insecure about their looks. Who am I to say anything, right? Anyone has the right to ask their mirror, like, oh, is there anybody who's prettier than me? Or maybe the mirror has a different taste. You know what? Maybe the mirror has a different taste. Maybe, yeah, I think it's that. That's why. Yes, Pumpkin. My cat is crying. Hold on. I'll be right back. The cat is complaining. He does not agree with me. Mirror has no taste? Maybe it's just a different kind of taste, okay? We don't know. We don't know. We haven't seen the movie yet. Maybe they changed the plot of the movie.
A bloated.
You know what? Maybe they changed the idea that it's a Snow White. Because Snow White is supposed to be white as snow. Isn't that the whole point of being Snow White? Because she's white as snow? Ah, man, I don't know. Maybe I'm not informed. maybe they... What's the word? What's the word when they change something in the canon? Maybe they changed the canon of Snow White after all these years, right? Yeah, she should be white as snow, yeah. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the best snake of them all? It's me! I'm the best snake. I'm the only snake. You shouldn't know any other snake.
Overstuffed turkey of a production, weighed down by
Overstuffed
hammy
turkey.
acting, cheap costumes, horrendous CGI, and vomit-inducing cinematography that bungles most of the elements it steals from the original animated movie, abandons its classic ideals of self-sacrifice, heroism, and true love, and injects the lethal dose of the message, which is so redundant and thematically contradictory that it just gets abandoned by the ends. It's also laughably obvious where they've had to reshoot and rewrite big chunks of this movie in response to all the backlash. Entire subplots, characters, and setups are introduced and then abandoned without explanation, and the ending is so wildly anticlimactic and jarring that it makes World War Z look like a model of cinematic efficiency. Anyway, let's get the plot summary over with so we can put this turd behind us. The basic setup for Snow White is broadly similar to the original film. Snow White herself is born to the benevolent king and queen of a generic medieval fantasy land that tactfully goes unnamed. Although, fuck me, they must have pretty good transportation links with the rest of the world, because the population here is more ethnically diverse than central London. Anyway,
Oh, yeah, maybe they have really good transportation. It's very diverse. Wow, that's amazing! Advanced transportation system in medieval.
Snow White's mum dies and her dad remarries Gal Gadot, who manipulates him into going off to war, where he promptly disappears and is never seen again. Oh no, guess she's gonna have to take control of everything. What a bind. Fast forward a few years and the kingdom's become a kind of dystopian nightmare where everyone's poor and hopeless and ruled over by an iron-fisted tyrant. It's a bit like modern day Britain, only with better sanitation and dental care. Anyway, after a confrontation with Snow White over a bandit named Jonathan who tried to steal some food from the castle, the evil queen decides the best thing to do is send her out into the forest where the huntsman can conveniently murder her. It's a bit extreme, but I'll let it slide. Naturally,
I mean, that's how fairy tale stories are. It's kind of extreme. Okay, it's fine. Yeah, that's the punishment for giving bread to the peasant. If you give bread to the peasant, you will be sent to the woods to be killed. Right. Yes. I'm sure the Brothers Grimm imagined diversity when they wrote this. Of course. They're very forward-thinking when they wrote this.
The huntsman has second thoughts and decides to let her go, and after wandering alone for a while, she runs into 7 dwarves that I can only describe as the kind of thing that Cthulhu probably has nightmares about. I'm not kidding, man. The brief glimpses that you got of these things in the trailers are absolutely nothing compared to the existential horror of actually witnessing them on the big screen. These are nightmares made real. Like if you woke up in the middle of the night and saw Mr. Blobby standing at the foot of your bed, silent, motionless, watching you with those blank, lifeless eyes that bore into your very soul.
Mr. Blobby, no.
So after crashing at their house for a while, eating their food and helping herself to all of their resources, Snow White helpfully forces them to clean up their own home while she prances around like she's on some mad acid trip. Which she probably is, to be fair. I would be if I was in this fucking movie. Then for some reason she gets it into her head that her dad must still be alive, and the only way to find him is to seek out the bandits that lurk in the forest.
But I wonder if they explain how long it's been since the dad left for work. Maybe he didn't leave for work. Maybe he's just gonna buy milk. Maybe he didn't want to be a king anymore. Because if you have these two people to deal with, it's like, well, I'm out of here. He's probably not gaslit into going to work. He was the one who decided that, fuck this, I'm gonna go buy milk. See you later. Oh no! Oh no! Maybe the city goat died and he has to go to another country to buy milk. Yes, that's true. He went to a different country to buy milk. Yes. I remember that Peter Dinklage kicked the stepladder, pressuring Disney to not cast other little people. I think these are CGI, right? The dwarves.
Right.
Oh yeah, what was I thinking? Yeah. I was saying that I don't know. Obviously, I didn't watch the movie, so I don't know how long it's been since the dad left. So how is she sure that she's gonna find him? If it's only been like a few days, she would probably be able to find him or his body somewhere. But if it's been years, how does she expect to find him? I don't know.
So naturally, she runs into Jonathan about 5
Of
minutes
course,
after
Jonathan,
leaving
yes,
the house so that the rest of the plot can happen, and he protects her from the evil queen's soldiers by taking an arrow that was meant for her, so she brings him back to the dwarves to get fixed up. Oh yeah, you know those retarded looking Starbucks baristas from those early set pictures that everyone thought were the dwarves? Well,
Oh.
those are the bandits, who are actually out of work actors forced to become thieves because the evil queen's taxation policies shut down their entire industry.
Oh no!
Is that a reference to something?
Oh,
Is that
no.
a reference to something?
Is that a reference to something?
No idea. Anyway, Jonathan
Oh.
decides to lure the queen's soldiers
I don't know. It's probably a coincidence that it's just there. It just happens. Okay, don't worry about it. It's fine.
away to give Snow White time to escape, and then immediately gets captured because he's a bumbling idiot. And the evil queen decides that she's had enough of this shit. Frankly, one sympathizes, so she turns herself into an old hag and manipulates Snow White into eating a poisoned apple that
Yes,
makes her
yes,
go
yes,
a
I
bit
remember
dead.
that one.
But that's okay because Jonathan escapes prison so that
Remember
the rest
that
of
one
the
in
plot
the
can happen
Grimm's fairy
and gives
tales?
her the world's least passionate kiss, which brings her back to life so that she can begin her cunning plan to overthrow the queen and take back her kingdom. Do you
Wow.
want to know what that plan is?
What?
Are you ready for the fourth dimensional quantum mega
Yes,
chest that
what's
she
the plan?
plays here that would probably give Christopher Nolan a brain hemorrhage? Well, she walks into town and then convinces the soldiers to turn against the evil queen because she can remember their names.
She convinced everyone to not do what the queen told them to do because she could remember their names. Huh. Is it because the soldiers have never been referred to by their names? They already forgot who they are? And they're like, oh my god, somebody actually remembers my name. Even I don't remember my name. It's like, oh wow. Maybe that's why. Maybe they got magicked by the queen to forget their name. You know how it is in Spirited Away? Where Chihiro works for the hot spring? And the lady took her name and gave her a different name? Maybe that's why. Maybe that's the magic going on. And the soldiers were like, they were released from the magical spell when she told them their names. Yeah? Yeah. It's just the modern dating strategy. The soldiers just wanted some attention. Magic plot. NPC when the player know them. Oh my god, exactly. That's how it is. Wow. That's amazing. Is that how you stop a conflict? If you remember people's names? Damn. I bet it's gonna work in real life.
Really?
I'm not kidding, that's her plan. So the evil queen gets
That's the
mad
plan,
and
yeah?
smashes the magic mirror and then turns into black glass and shatters, and Snow White becomes the new queen, and that's it. They all live
Wow.
happily ever after.
Yay, happily ever after.
Now, there's a lot I want to say about this movie, but first, let us begin with the positive.
Wait. Jonathan was the one who gave her a kiss, right? I thought it's supposed to be a prince from a different kingdom. I thought it's supposed to be a prince. You know what? Why am I questioning this? They rewrote a lot of stuff about the original Snow White, okay? It's not the Snow White that we used to know. This is the new modern Snow White. It's better than the original. Yeah. Tsundere soldiers. It's not like I want to follow you or anything.
And as hard as it might be to believe, most of them actually concern Rachel Zegler.
No way!
Now, don't get me wrong, she might be an obnoxious arsehole in the real world, but credit where credit's due here, she actually isn't terrible as Snow White.
It's not true! That's impossible!
I mean, her outfit looks like it cost like $100 off Amazon, her haircut makes Anton Chigurh like a cutting-edge trailblazer, her performance is a bit over the top and theatre kid at times, and her American accent comes and goes depending on whether or not she's in a reshoot, but I do get the impression she's at least trying to do her best with the material, and she can absolutely belt out the musical numbers, which is pretty much what you'd expect from a trained vocalist. The same cannot be said for Gal Gadot, however. It genuinely pains me to say this, but I think we all need to come to the acceptance that that girl cannot fucking act. It takes a special kind of charisma, presence, and dramatic range to play a good Disney villain, and well, Gal Gadot doesn't have it. Her delivery somehow manages to be wooden and scenery chewing at the same time, and when she has to deliver a big musical number, you can pinpoint the exact moment where they swap out her voice with someone who can actually sing.
Imagine there's no heaven.
Oh no, this song!
Jonathan is yet another entry into the bumbling, forgettable, non-threatening male sidekick list of modern-day Disney heroes. There's brief moments where it seems like he might be displaying the tiniest bit of attitude and heroism, but then it's immediately squashed to reinforce the idea that men are all just a bit useless.
That's the point of the story. The men are useless. Oh, of course. I should have realized that. Because the soldiers were men as well, right? And they folded the moment she remembered their name. Oh my god, that's the point of the Snow White movie. Oh, I see. Okay. I understand. And also the father went to work. Quote unquote, he went away to work. And didn't play any more role to his daughter's life. The main point of the movie is men are useless. Oh my god. Maybe except the dwarves? I actually don't know. I mean, the dwarves kinda help her, right? At least they did kill her in the woods. Or something. At least they didn't keep that part from the original fairy tale where they did nasty things to Snow White. Probably. Allegedly. Who knows? Moral of the story, fuck Disney, just watch Princess Bride. Oh yes.
Visually,
just watch the old Disney animations. The old Disney animations are pretty good. Yes.
Film's an inconsistent mess. CGI Cthulhu nightmares aside, the colour scheme ranges from bleak, washed-out grey castles and towns that look like Zack Snyder directed it, to a kind of over-the-top golden yellow piss filter for the CGI woodland scenes that's so excessive it actually makes your eyes start to hurt after a while. It's funny as well because there's like one scene that was filmed on location in a real forest, and the contrast between that and the CGI fantasy version is so jarring, I actually thought the action had shifted to a whole different country. Also, you can absolutely tell this movie's been reshot to fuck. The kiss scene where Jonathan brings Snow White back to life was absolutely added in later to try to appease fans of the original. Snow White herself has clearly been toned down in places to make her less obnoxious, and I'd be willing to bet about 90% of the bandits' screen time has been cut. Most of them don't even get a single line of dialogue, which once again had me questioning, why the fuck are they even in this movie? I think the biggest problem though is the ending. The original movie had the dwarves battle in the evil queen queen to save
Ooh,
Snow
look at
White,
that.
reinforcing the idea of reciprocal kindness and redemption. But here, Snow White has to resolve everything by herself, and the result is that none of the other groups or factions have anything to do. Both the bandits and the
They
dwarves
don't do
and even
anything. They're
Jonathan
just
just
there.
kind of stand around watching the whole thing play out, and I couldn't help wondering,
Aw.
what is the film even trying to show us here? Snow White as a character seems to be all about equity and shared responsibility, rather than privilege
no.
and greedy self-interest. But when it comes to the crunch, she ends up having to do basically everything herself, which negates the very point the movie's been trying to make for the past 2 hours. It's this
It's supposed to be shared responsibility. At the end of the day, she did everything. Well, I guess that's confusing, huh? Oh no! I don't actually remember what happened in the original animated movie. I didn't know it was the dwarves who faced the queen. Damn. What a mess.
fundamental inability to understand what it's even trying to say, beyond the crushingly tired princess who saves herself trope that's now become the
she's
very
tired.
cliche it worked so hard to overturn that proves to be the film's real undoing. In short, Snow White is a modern day mess. A film that's basically been a
Modern day
disaster
mess?
from start
Aw.
to finish, and now that it's finally out there and I've reviewed it, it's something I'm very much looking forward to tossing on the ash heap of history. Do yourself a big old favour, save yourself some time and money, and go watch the original instead.
Yay!
Weird. Weird.
Yeah, just watch the
Anyway,
original.
that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Wait. I just have a thought. What is that movie where the princess got transported into the real life? What was it called again? Was that a Disney movie? So it starts out as animated, and then she got transported into the real life. And then she was singing, and the rats and pigeons showed up to clean the house. Enchanted, yeah. Was that a Disney movie? I like that one. That was funny. Enchanted. Let me see. Giselle frolics with her woodland pals, falls in love with the handsome Prince Edward, but when Giselle arrives at the castle to marry her Prince Charming, his evil stepmother sends the prince to be a place where there are no happily ever after. This one's funny. I like this movie. It was not Disney movie, it was just inspired. Let me see. Production by Walt Disney Pictures. It's also a Disney movie. I mean, this one, it's kind of silly. And the way she acted was kind of over the top compared to the other humans because she was transported into the human world, right? But that makes sense. I like this movie. It's funny. No, well, I made it up. There was a sequel that came out 3 years ago. I know it was probably a sequel. I read it as a seagull. Disenchanted? Yeah, there's a sequel called Disenchanted. I didn't see it either. Anyway, just watch Enchanted instead of Snow White. That's what I was gonna say. I like this movie. I think in this one, the classic, you know how they act in animated movies compared to like live action movies, it works well here in the story. Although I didn't see Snow White, so who am I to say, right? I'm just yapping. I'm just padding screen time. Anyway. This is the ending song. Ending song. This is the ending song.